Brad Holmes is talking about moving out of the number 2 position in the 2022 NFL draft as he was asked about that at the Senior Bowl. Now, we've heard this before last year when it came to Penei Sewell that the Detroit Lions were entertaining drafting out of that spot. Nothing ever came out of it, but I think what they were going to do is they were going to try to take Micah Parsons if Penei Sewell hadn't fallen to them. So the draft goes in many different ways. It depends on who's there. Now, at number 2, I think the Detroit Lions are in a bit more of a sticky situation being at number 2 because it's only one person that they don't have the pick of the litter to get, and that would be the number 1 pick. Some people think Evan Neal, the tackle from Alabama, will be the first person and player taken off the board. We've seen an offensive tackle get taken before, number 1 overall. We did see during the season that Trevor Lawrence, man, he needs some protection, and he is going to have to get some this offseason. But will they go with the offensive tackle, or will they take the defensive end, either Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan? I think this is a game that needs to be played every season when it comes to the NFL draft, depending on where you pick, especially if you pick early. The Detroit Lions, the pick they have of their own doing would be that 2nd overall pick. Then they got the Matthew Stafford pick, will either be 31 or 32, depending on the outcome of the Super Bowl. But when asked about the potential of trading out of the number 2 pick at the Senior Bowl, here is what Brad Holmes had to say. "I'm always open for whatever," Holmes said. "We're still in the early stages of it. We've got a good feel of the class. We're at a much better place at this stage of the process than last year. But still, we've got a lot more work to do. But I'm never scared to move around. So we're definitely open for business always." I don't know if the Detroit Lions are really going to move out from the number 2 pick. It depends on what would be offered to them. And as I've said since I've been on YouTube, it takes 2 to tango. They need a dance partner in this whole situation. I think this year is very similar to the Jeff Okudah year when we picked 3rd, where a lot of people were like, oh, the Lions might take a quarterback. They might do this. They might do that. And they did not. They took Ohio State cornerback Jeff Okudah. Everybody knew they were. Everyone knew Matthew Stafford was in no position or no fear of having a quarterback drafted behind him. Even though I can see the Detroit Lions drafting a quarterback somewhere in this NFL draft, I really don't think that the number 2 pick has any type of significance, any type of weight, because if you think about it, it has to be somebody a team really, really wants. And we saw what happened last year. We had 5 quarterbacks go in the first 15 picks. Bill Belichick just stayed the course. And what happened? Mac Jones literally fell into his lap. So I don't really see any type of bargaining chips that the Detroit Lions will have with that number 2 pick. Now, on the flip side of that, I could see how that would benefit the Detroit Lions, because if we wanted an edge rusher, if somebody really, really wanted to come up and get that number 2 pick, they would have to be willing to give me their 1st round pick this year. And I'm thinking maybe a 1st round pick next year, and maybe a couple more picks for me, depending on how far the team wanted to come up. If you're talking about trading from out of the top 10 to the number 2, I'm going to need your 1st this year, your 1st next year, your 1st the year after that, and maybe 5th or 6th, somewhere around there. But you're going to have to give me quite a bit to come up into the top 10, let alone the number 2 pick overall. But I just don't see that happening this year. I just don't think this draft has, in the position that the Lions are in, we don't have I think all the leverage is really on the other side, because let's say Evan Neal goes 1, then after we pick number 2, literally everyone else is on the board after that point. So just like Penei Sewell fell to us at number 7, we really thought that the Bengals may take him. And I remember watching the draft highlights. When the Bengals passed on him and took Jamar Chase, the Detroit Lions pretty much knew that it was only one team standing in their way, and that was the Philadelphia Eagles. They wind up taking Devonta Smith, and then after that, it was a wrap. If somebody did come up and trade with the Detroit Lions for number 2, I could see the benefit from that. There's a couple pass rushers. If we don't necessarily have to get Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson, we can get David Ajabo. We can get some other guys as well. There's a defensive end that Raw Detroit did a focus on that's making a lot of noise at the Senior Bowl this week. We could get him as well. If you want to check that video out, it will be up here in the corner. If by some chance a team was to come up, I do think that the Detroit Lions would really have to consider to pull the trigger, because if the Detroit Lions were to take this trade, were to have a partner, and I could see them actually doing it, man, because you could get that elite pass rusher. You could build the team through the draft even quicker than you could without an extra pick or two. But for me, if you want to try come in the top 10, I need at least 2 first and some other stuff on the back end as well. But if you're already in the top 10, I still would need 2 first and some other stuff on the back end. Me, man, I am not giving up the number. You're gonna have to, if you want what I have, you're gonna have to pay me. That's just how I roll. So let me know in the comments below. How likely do you think it is that the Detroit Lions do trade out of that number 2 pick? Me, I think it's very unlikely because you need a trade partner to do so. And I really don't think the Detroit Lions have I think they have little to no leverage to really, unless somebody really, really wants Thibodeau or Hutchinson, with the off chance that the Lions take Kyle Hamilton at the number 2 spot, which I doubt that as well. The Lions could finesse something and get those 2 first-round picks, get maybe 2 second-round picks or something like that. Because me, I probably would want the biggest haul in this particular draft. I think I would want maybe a 1st-round pick next year and then something in this draft so I can quickly build my team. So let me know what you think in the comments below. My name is Derek. This is Detroit Lions Syndicate. We talk all things Detroit Lions on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. Like the video as well. And I'll see you in the next video. And as always, go Lions.